Welcome to the Phenomenal Teacher Show. Our guest today is Melissa Cara. Thank you for joining the podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
I would like to ask you, who was your favorite teacher growing up and what made them special to you?
My favorite teacher growing up was Mr. Nelson. I actually went to Steiner School, so I had the first, my teacher was for a lot of years, and I think we got him really young, to be honest, and he was really cool. He had a tongue piercing and wore Doc Martens with flames on them, and he just could really get to our level really well and had such a passion for nature, which has really flowed on with me, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, I love that. I love when schools are allowed to take their students outdoors. Oftentimes we're inhibited by four walls, and even though we want to do these amazing things for our students, maybe the budget doesn't allow it or the grounds don't allow it because we don't have enough green space. So I love that he was able to instill that love for nature.
It was amazing. He actually, I kept in contact with him until he passed away from a brain tumor a few years ago, and he just was phenomenal. I have to say, made such an impact on my life. It's really special.
So Melissa, tell us your journey of how you became this mindset, motivation, and business mentor.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I started off in recruitment, and I had my baby, and I kind of was at that crossroads where I was like, I can't go back to corporate. I don't know what I'm going to do. I looked at all sorts of options. I was like, MLM, network marketing, what can I do? Like most, I think mothers do, to be honest, at that stage. And one of my previous clients in recruitment actually called me and was like, Mel, I need help. I've hired 6 recruiters since you, have been on mat leave. And I was like, I can't do this. How am I going to do this with a baby on my hip? And I was like, sure. I just said sure, to be honest. It was my first step, was saying sure. And from there, my business grew to 6 figures in under a year. And then I was getting told by all my friends, I want to do what you're doing. So I was like, okay, sure, I can teach you how to do what I'm doing. So created a course, how to literally do what I was doing. And they were having phenomenal results. But they're like, Mel, we need more help. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And from there, coaching and mentoring was born. And so I did that. And then I got sick. And I, got an aggressive tumor and had to kind of figure out navigating a new life. My same life, but with a different me. And that's really where the mindset came in. I'd been a qualified hypnotherapist for a lot of years, but I don't think I'd really valued how strong my mindset was and how I'd done all this work already. And so I really wanted to bring some of these lessons and some of these lessons I'd learned about perseverance and being, having grit, even when times were tough. And so I really wanted to bring that into the strategy I'd already been doing with all, my phenomenal clients and the motivation that came with that as well. So it was kind of a bit of an evolution. I don't think we kind of dive in and we're one thing. I think we kind of evolve really as we go.
I'm so sorry to hear about your health issues. And as listeners tune in, that they might also be struggling with their own mindset. Maybe they're going through some difficult, illness or recovering from it. Or, they're like, I want to do this business after school. And I'm just, how do I have that motivation and believing in myself that it's possible, that even, beyond maybe some of the symptoms that they might be facing of being tired and exhausted. Not only are they teaching full time, but now they have this inspiration to do something, after school or on the weekends. So can you help us a little bit around building that mindset around, believing in oneself?
Yeah, definitely. So I always kind of have this like theory. You just have to have a little bit more faith than fear, right? If you have just a little bit more faith than fear, then you can pretty much do anything. So it's really about building momentum. It's not about creating the empire. It's about just starting and going, what can I do today? What is one small thing I can do today to get me closer to the end goal? And if you constantly actually build on that, then eventually you're going to get there, right? It doesn't have to be all in or all nothing. It's really about just getting the momentum and not losing it. Because if you can get that ball rolling, it really does just happen. It kind of becomes a beast of its own, and you're going to be off. So I guess what I tell my clients to do every day, and the way to start their day, is to start by imagining where you want to be. Really get into where you want to be in your headspace, in your mind, and really imagine what it is. And I mean, I'm making it as bright as I can possibly make it. What does it smell like? Where do I live? What do my kids look like? What do my clients look like? What am I doing? And you don't have to have all the answers, right? But it's the craziest thing when you're actually constantly daily stepping into that headspace. It's amazing. You actually start to make it clearer every day because it kind of comes together like a puzzle. You put one piece down and you're like, oh, that piece fits in there too, right? And so it just becomes clearer. So once you're actually stepping into that headspace every day, you can actually just take small steps to get there. So, really it's just about gaining that momentum by stepping into your vision and then just taking small steps towards it every day.
Like sometimes when I visualize, for me personally, and I'm sure our listeners can relate, you visualize it and you're so happy. You're in this blissful state. And then, you get out of the visualization and you're like, but this is not it. Like, this is clearly not what I just visualized. The reality is not showing me what it is that I want to experience. So so does it make sense to continue this visualization if it maybe makes you sad that you're not there yet? Or, you keep thinking of how you want it to be and you're making steps towards it and then it's still not at a state of satisfaction, or you feel let down or disappointed?
You're never going to be happy if you stop working towards it. So, I guess that's the big thing, right? I might feel like, I know for me personally, with this tumor, I only got the clearance yesterday. And so it was over a year-long process of, weekly blood tests. And you feel like you're in this endless tumble, right? Like it's this endless tumble. But, if you can hold your vision clear, take the steps, it's really all you can do to get closer to your goal. So I always hold true on it. I guess that's the only way, really deciding and being the driver of your own life, going, I can't control everything going on around me. All I can control is my feelings at the end of the day. That is literally all you can control, and how you feel about things. So, I think that's the thing. Take action, build momentum, stay true. Know that you get to make the decision to be the leader of your own life whenever you want. You can go passive, and we all slip into that passive, we slip into it, and it's like constant choice to go, nope, not slipping into it. And, really taking control of your own thoughts around it too.
So let's say that someone might be in a similar situation with you with their health issues, that they might be going through weekly treatments as well. And they have, within their heart, this big dream, and they're doing the visualizations, every day of how they want their business to unfold. So what would be that driving force? Is it the why, the big why of what they want to receive that they want to focus on? Or is it something like, is it mission or purpose? Like, guide us through this process of really instilling this gathering of momentum to continue even despite not feeling your best.
Yeah, it's funny. It's such a big picture, and I think it's different for everybody, to be honest. I think this why we talk about, so many people I hear talking about their why. And you have to know your why. Of course you have to know your why. And it's got to be bigger than you. It really does. Like, because if it's just you and wanting a pile of money, it's probably not going to get you to where you want to go, because, you know, it's just not. But I think when your vision becomes so clear and it's bigger than you, it's just something you feel like you have to do. It's a calling. It's more of a calling than, you know, anything. You know, for me personally, there's so much I want to teach my daughter. You know, that was one of my biggest drivers, like making sure she's strong, making sure she's, you know, has the tools, and she sees someone really chasing their dreams, because I wouldn't want that for her to not chase her dreams. So she has, like, you know, she's one of my biggest whys. And then there's bigger whys again.
Melissa, tell us the importance of using affirmations.
Yeah, so they really are something to me. So they're the thing for me that can kind of guide me even when times are tough. I have these statements I create. They're power statements. So for me, they have to be something where they're not so far-fetched I can't believe them. So they have to be, like, one of the ones I developed for a client yesterday was a $10,000 month is right around the corner for me. I can imagine having a $10,000 month, right? Like, you can kind of, it's like, oh, that's a big dream, right? That's a big, but it's also like, oh, I can do it. And it's not like I have $10,000. It's like, it's right around the corner for me. So it's actually achievable with your brain. So for me, the affirmations have to be achievable with your brain. So they're not just like rejecting them. And then you put them everywhere. I put them on sticky notes. I put them, and I'm looking around because I've got them right here next to me on the left. I put them, like, you know, on my mirror in front of me when I'm brushing my teeth. So I just like mimic them. They're alarms on my phone, and I have 3 throughout the day that pop up. I also make my financial goal my password on my phone. So I literally just have to constantly put it in my phone. So I know what I'm working towards, right? Every month. And it's like a constant reminder. And that's really what they are. They're these power statements that if we don't have them, we don't think about them. So we can't achieve them, because we can easily back burner any thought we have, right? It's so easy to put them away. So I constantly try to make these right on the front of my brain. And that's some of the ways that I do it.
So when working with your clients, have you felt that they were rejecting some of the affirmations? Like, they didn't really believe in it? Like, oftentimes they're like, well, you know, I am richer every day. But then your reality, you're not richer every day. So for example, a teacher might be selling something, and on Teachers Pay Teacher or Etsy or Amazon or wherever they're trying to sell or provide after school services like tutoring and music lessons and martial arts or dance lessons, you know. So you're like, well, this is how much I can make, or this is how much I have been making. So when you're saying things like $10,000 is right around the corner, they're like, wow, I didn't even make that much in my salary and my side income, you know, to merit that 10,000. So do you see certain roadblocks of these affirmations being rejected right away?
Yeah, and that's why it's really important to customize them. So if 10,000 is just like, whoa, I don't even know how I'm going to get there, that's just crazy town. Well, maybe you start at 3,000. Maybe you start at 4,000. Maybe whatever it is. You don't want it to be like where you are now. You want it to be a stretch, right? Like you want to feel like, oh, that's a little bit like, oh, but you also want it to feel like I can do that. And it's not like you're full rejecting. So if you're full rejecting your affirmation is not on point. It's got to be something where you can go, I could get behind that. And it makes you feel strong. It makes you feel powerful, and it makes you feel motivated. Whenever I create one for myself, I create it, I write it down, and I close my eyes and I kind of tune into myself. And if it makes me feel that, then it's the right one for me. If I have any feelings, and I don't even know what to call these feelings, right? They're just like doubts, hesitation, pushing away, like these kind of, and you'll know when you feel this, right? You know when that statement doesn't make you feel strong, then it's not right for you. It's really not the right one for you. So making sure it's tailored, I think, is the most important thing. You can go through lists on, Pinterest. You can go through lists everywhere, and you're going to find that you're drawn to some. Some are going to make you feel good. And, that's a good place to start if you haven't actually done it before. Just Google, just get on Pinterest, find them, and then you're going to start to develop your own.
So once they find resonance with a certain affirmation, now do they continue repeating that affirmation until it reveals itself in the physical world? Like, so for example, let's say they say something like $5,000 is right around the corner. And once it's obtained and achieved, do they switch it out, or do they switch out the affirmation when they don't resonate with it anymore? How do they know when to start using a different affirmation?
Yeah, it's when it doesn't feel powerful anymore. If you're going to hit your money goal, you're probably not going to want to use the same money goal because you're like, nah, I want 7,000 this month, right? Like 5,000 is just not me dreaming big enough. So, if they lose their essence, and sometimes we grow as people, and it's funny, like things that used to resonate. I have like dream boards, old dream boards, and I'm like, really? I wanted that? Like my old dream board had chickens on it. I'm like, man, I don't want chickens on it. Like, I don't want chickens. I don't want to deal with farm. I don't want to deal with eggs. I want to go traveling now, right? And so we grow as people. So what we want changes, and that's cool. That's you evolving. So you'll know when you've evolved past the chickens, and you'll be able to actually adapt to that.
Okay. So by the way that we feel towards our affirmation is how often we're going to repeat it and say it for however length of period of time. So it could be a day, it could be, several weeks or months or even years, as long as you feel into it, right? Like you're just following your intuition and your guidance, knowing when to switch out the affirmation, or if they have like a vision board, looking at things. Let's discuss just a little bit around a vision board. So let's say that on there you have your side business. So you have the business, like you found some magazine pictures up, Pinterest or online, and then you have them up on your board. You're like, okay, this is what I want for my business. This is the kind of success I want to obtain, or the impact I want, influence that I want on whoever is receiving my service or products, etc. What if you keep looking at that and then it makes you sad because you're not there yet? So would you recommend them to continue looking at this vision board to be inspired by it, even though it's evoking feelings of maybe disappointment or sadness because you're not there, you haven't achieved that?
So, I think we can all tend to fall into that victim mode, because it's a victim mode, right? We're not there yet. I haven't done it yet. It makes me so sad. We can all do that. But again, it's kind of stepping back into that leadership. It's stepping back into the leader of your own life and going, I want this. I'm going to do this. So it's actually recognizing those feelings and going, hold on, wait, I'm not a victim. I get to choose what I do in my life, and really stepping back into that. So look at it every day. And, if it is evoking that feeling, what are you doing to change it? Like, it's really about becoming clear that you aren't a victim of your own life. We have things. We all have bad things that happen to us. I wish we didn't. Genuinely wish we didn't. But it's true. Like, I don't know anyone who's gotten out off of this planet unscathed. Like, no one does. We all have things that happen. So, instead of being the victim, stepping back into that leadership and going, I'm going to drive this. I want this. I'm going to do it. And just acknowledging how you felt, and also acknowledging I'm not doing that anymore. And the more we can kind of step into that, the more we can change our patterns, the more we can achieve what we want.
So what are some roadblocks that you notice working with, people that are starting off in their business?
Gosh, the biggest one I've seen is people not valuing their own work. I can't believe people pay for this, particularly with resume writers. I've been working with a few of those this week, and they're like, they're charging peanuts for their service, and then they're wondering why people aren't, buying. And they're like, I can't believe people would pay top dollar for this. And it's like, hold on, wait. you're actually hurting yourself by charging so little sometimes, because people think, what's wrong with it? So that's been one of the ones, like actually truly understanding the value of things and starting to value it yourself first. That's been one of the biggest ones this week I've been dealing with. The other one has been really asking for sales. So being able to actually ask for it, that's scary to people. They're like, whoa, I'm like, hold on, again, you're doing yourself a disservice by not offering to help them further. What if they need your help further, right? And predominantly I work with service-based. Some of them do have products, but predominantly is service-based that I do deal with. So again, it's really about offering further help usually. And, it's really those things I see, people not valuing themselves enough to be able to understand that it's actually serving others by selling.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like the price point too, like how much you sell it for. So, teachers, obviously you don't enter the profession because, we have a high salary. You enter it because you have a greater purpose and mission. You want to serve, you want to make a great impact. And so oftentimes teachers, would sell things for like $2.99 for their form on Teachers Pay Teachers, like something very insignificant where you'd have to sell an enormous volume to make any sort of like profit. So what would you advise or say, to teachers? Because teachers are serving teachers. So oftentimes we're like, well, either we just give it away and give it for free because we're so used to giving, serving, and not getting much of anything back.
Yeah. So, I usually, what the exercise I do with my clients is we start with what they want to earn. And then we actually, re-engineer it from there. So what does that look like? And then once you kind of get from there, because I see so many people just kind of building one product, and some people fall into it and it's like a side hobby, and that's cool. But if you're actually wanting this to be a full-time thing that's actually going to take over and, create you either a real income on the side or, become your full-time thing, you need to figure out what it is you want to earn. So, re-engineering what you want to earn and how you're going to get there is probably the first point where people have their light bulb moments, I see. Because it's like, hold on, wait. I'm not going to be able to survive if I sell it at $2.99 or $3.99 or whatever it is, right? And I'm going to have to sell it to, oh, wait, hold on, 40,000 people in the next month.
Yeah.
And so actually when you're looking at that, you're like, wait, hold on, this doesn't make sense. So I find that can be a really good exercise to get people starting to think about it first. And then you can kind of go back and go, okay, no, this obviously has to be $9.95, right? And I need to sell it to this many people. How am I going to do that? So I think that's the way I've found can really help people get out of that headspace really quickly, because it's not about one product at the end of the day. It's really about your whole array of services and how it's going to benefit you basically so you can serve better. Because if you're actually struggling with money, I can promise you, you're not going to be showing up well for your clients. It just flows on. So you need to be looking after you first and lead by example so that you can actually serve better.
So Melissa, as we come to the conclusion of our conversation today, what is one thing that a teacher can do today to help with her mindset?
I think visioning at the end of the day, getting really clear on your big picture so that you become that driver to your destination and not floating. So work on your visioning, find out what it is, dig into it, if it be, imagining it, be it journaling it, be it whatever it is, to find out what it is that your big vision is.
So Melissa, I really enjoyed this conversation with you. How can our phenomenal teachers find out more about you?
So the easiest place to find me is on Facebook. So www.facebook.com/Ms. Melissa Cara. And you can find out all sorts of things there. There's lots of videos and links to my website, and you can go down the rabbit hole there, basically.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Phenomenal Teacher Show.
Thank you for having me.